I would like to tonight announce a donation to the Obama Super PAC, which has the very unfortunate tongue twister name Priority USA Action. I know, it was named by Borat. But tonight I would like to give that PAC $1 million. This is the wisest investment I think I could make on a selfish level. Because I'll tell you something, folks, who I know look at these Republican clowns and think it's in the bag. No, it's not. Obama could lose.
Well said by a smart man as well as a funny man. That's Bill Maher, the host of HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher, announcing that he's donated $1 million to President Obama's Super PAC, which has no relation, of course, to the president. It's no joke. Bill Maher joins us from L.A. You know, this is going to be remembered. Are you going to be watching how much money they collect for that PAC to know what percentage you owe of that thing?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
I think at the moment it's probably too big a percentage. I mean, I was trying to throw a snowball to create an avalanche here and let the liberals who do think that this is already in the bag for Obama, probably because, like me, they watch Hardball every day and they see what idiots these Republicans are. But that's not how the whole country sees it. And I promise you, when it comes to election night, it's going to be neck and neck. It's going to be a very tight race.
Why you think that? Why you think that? Because that's what we just heard Mark Halperin say, what we hear other people say. Despite the president being up by 10 points over Romney now, by moving up above 50% in favorability, up to 53 now, and it's now February, late February. Why do you think it'll be different in November?
Well, one reason is because of this issue of money, because Obama had a giant money advantage last time because the most anybody could ever give was, I think, $2,300. Now Sheldon Adelson talks about giving $100 million. The game has changed from small contributions to large contributions in the millions, the many millions. And he's going to have, I think, a tremendous financial disadvantage. That's one. The other reason, of course, is because this country is divided. You know, I always talk about the Republican bubble that they live in, but there's a bit of a liberal bubble, too. They hear Rick Santorum talking about the father of lies and how college is bad, and they think these people are nuts. But half the country doesn't think it's nuts. And on election night, I bet you it will be a very tight race.
How do you get that? Now, you do have a bigger worldview than a lot of people in left, right, or center. How do you keep it? Is it going on the road where you feel it, or how do you? Because your audience is pretty liberal. I've been on your show; it's fabulous, but it's a liberal audience. How do you find that other audience? How do you connect with them?
Well, I don't really want to connect with them. I mean,
find out they're there. I
don't know
should
who
say. Count them. Let's put it that way. How do you get the count?
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm on the road quite a bit. I do a lot of stand-up dates all around the country. I'm going to Huntsville, Alabama on March 3rd. Then I'm going to San Antonio. These are not liberal places. And even though the liberals come out to my show at the auditorium or the theater that I'm in, when you're in airports, when you're in bars, wherever you are, you talk and see people. And, yeah, there's a whole different... I mean, I talked to Tim Tebow last night. Chris, it was thrilling at the Vanity Fair party after the Oscars. I mean, if you can't talk to Tebow and come away with a different point of view, you're not listening.
What is the, for our progressives and liberals watching this show, what is the legitimate, if there is one, bitch, if you will, against Obama? What is it that they have deepest, besides maybe the ethnic thing or the ideological? Is there something about Obama that they think is going to, that you think is going to drive them into that voting booth no matter what hell happens between now and November?
Yes, Chris, he's a Muslim socialist out to destroy America. Haven't you heard that?
But they're the craziest.
You know, this is the bubble. Well, you know, this is the bubble that they live in. I mean, it's very hard to get actual facts into this impermeable membrane. They think Obama, they're running against a fictional president, a president who has slashed defense, who has raised taxes, who goes around the world apologizing to different countries, who coddles terrorists, all of which, of course, never happened. But that's who they think the president is. And it's very, very hard. That's why we have this bubble we built on the show every week to physically illustrate this.
Well, let's talk about possible cracks in that bubble. This guy caught bin Laden in one of the most interesting, it's almost Alistair McLean kind of stuff. He did it brilliantly, at minimal loss of life. He got bin Laden. They got him killed in the action, which is the neatest way to do it if you're honest about it. His family is picture perfect. His daughters are right out of Tricia Nixon. They don't do anything wrong. They turn themselves out perfectly. They act like almost a royal family in a good democratic way. Everything his wife does seems perfect. It's about obesity, things that everybody knows is a problem in this country. What more do they want from this guy as a human being? We do have a number out, by the way, that we're going to show later in the show, where something like 75% of the country says they like the guy personally.
Well, Chris, first of all, you're using reason, which, as we know, is a faulty way to derive at any sort of truth. Rick Santorum will tell you, it's probably, Chris, because you went to college. And people who go to college, they're the types who are suspect to this virus of reason, and that's probably why you're thinking the way you are, logically. No, what Rick Santorum would tell you is homeschool your kids, stay away from college, because people who go to college want to be like Obama, you know, successful. We don't want that here in America.
Well, what do you think about him going to war with Jack Kennedy? I mean, here's a guy who is trying to get the Reagan Democrats, eventually, I think, Santorum, because they're the ones that decide election, conservative Democrats, Irish, Italian, people that generally are more conservative than most Democrats, but they're still Democrats, but you try to grab them if you're a Republican, because that's how you win. Trashes Kennedy. I guess I don't get it. I don't know who he's trying to win over. He trashes the college people, which is a lot of people. Almost everybody comes here as an immigrant wants their kid to go to college, and they do most of the time. He trashes the sort of conservative Catholics who still treasure Kennedy. African Americans still treasure Kennedy. Well, who's he looking for that's not in those two groups of either college or ethnically conservative Democrats? Who's he after?
I don't know. I mean, you're asking the wrong guy, because I really can't see into this guy's mind. I never thought anyone in American politics would come out against college. I can't write this stuff. In fact, with all the material that Rick Santorum has given me, I should write him a check for $1 million. Okay. But I think what's interesting about the Kennedy thing is that Kennedy in 1960, of course, had to make a speech that said, I'm not going to be taking my marching orders from the Pope. Here we are in 2012, and it's almost the opposite. Rick Santorum is throwing up because the president is sort of not saying the reverse. Yes, I will take my marching orders from the Pope.
Exactly. That's what he's saying.
It's so through the looking glass. And I love that thing you did last week where you showed the statement that Pope Benedict made and made the point that Rick Santorum doesn't even follow his own Pope.
I agree. Well, that's what I said. Let me ask you about the other guy, Romney. I have a theory about Romney that backs up your case why it's still a 50-50 country. I believe that nobody believes Romney, and that's going to help him in the general election if he gets that far. Nobody believes these protestations of his, that he's a right-winger, that he believes in all this Tea Party crap. He wouldn't be caught dead at a Tea Party meeting. Nobody believes he isn't sort of pragmatic about things like abortion rights and things like that. They think he's a pragmatist. Nobody's afraid of the guy, and I think that may be a great help to him if he goes up against Obama. You agree?
That's right, and I do agree with that. And I think, you know, this idea that they go after him as a flip-flopper, that could backfire, because I think being a flip-flopper, perversely, in this weird world we're living in, could be an asset to him, because people who don't like what he's saying will just say to themselves, well, of course, when he gets into office, he's going to switch right back. They're actually going to have to flip-flop on flip-flopping. It's a very funny election. But yes, I agree with you. That Romney, yeah, go ahead.
You know, my hero Winston Churchill said when he switched parties for the second time, he said, anybody can re-rat. Anybody can rat. It takes somebody special to re-rat. Maybe he's going to re-rat and go back to being the governor of Massachusetts. Hey, Maher, you're the best.
Yeah, it'll be a little hard.
You're the best,
Hey,
sir.
Chris, thank you.
You're the funniest, smartest guy around.
I appreciate that.